What is up, guys? This is Kyurem from the Trinity of Lift, and today I'm bringing all of you guys my updated Elemental Hero deck profile for this April 2015 format. So, now that World Superstars is available, I had to go and pick me up some 420 YOLO Swag Blazing Mans for this hero deck, and I will say that Blazeman has really helped this deck quite a bit with his pretty darn cool effects, and I'm happy to just bring all this updated profile for all of you guys to enjoy today. As a little disclaimer at the start, this isn't a dedicated masked hero variant of the deck. As personally for me, I enjoy using the Elemental Hero fusions. So this deck is slightly more geared towards those fusions. But don't worry, there is still some masked heroes, as you can see by that Dark Law on the front. But just as an FYI, this might not be the most optimal build because it isn't, again, the pure masked hero build. But in my opinion, it's still a very fun build of heroes, and it's the one that I personally enjoy. So let's get right into this profile. So, starting us off, we have the 2 Elemental Hero Blazeman, which is brand new from the newest set. He is really dang good in the sense that he can act like another mini Stratos within the deck, as you can basically turn Blazeman into any hero that you could want, just by foolishing them to the graveyard. In lieu of that, it really does help you get something that this deck could previously not do, which is actually get Dark Law on the first turn, but also get a Shadow Mist search at the same time. Because usually what would happen is if you do have the Shadow Mist and Mask Change first turn, you'd end up summoning the Shadow Mist, and then setting the Mask Change and waiting for your opponent's turn. But now with Blazeman, we can actually just summon Blazeman instead, send the Shadow Mist, get the Shadow Mist search effect, and then set Mask Change, or then activate Mask Change right away to make Dark Law, as well as have that Shadow Mist search on the first turn. So it just helps heroes have a better solid first turn, in my opinion. And also, you really don't need 3, because in my opinion 3 does kind of clog. There are times when you will be running out of your heroes quite fast in this deck, because there really isn't much heroes to run actually. So I really didn't feel 3 was necessary, and I'm just fine with 2. And another cool thing Blazeman does is if you don't need to foolish a monster for whatever reason, whenever he is normal summon, he can actually just straight search you out of polymerization, which is also pretty cool, and just helps me go into my Elemental Hero fusions, which I said is my way of making big monsters in this deck. So we have the 2 Blazeman. Following him, we have the girl herself. We have the 3 Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, because Shadow Mist is basically a staple at 3 in this deck. She is able to search out your change cards, as well as she can help you get your free pluses by using her as Mass Hero material, Elemental Hero fusion material, yada yada yada. She's just really, really good. You should run her at 3. Next up, for another 3 of hero that we run the 3 Elemental Hero Bubbleman, because he is our Elemental Hero acid target, as well as he can also help us go into our rank 4s pretty darn easy. So we do have the 3 Bubbleman. Next up, we have 2 more Elemental Heroes, and we have, starting off with the 1 Elemental Hero Voltic, because I said this is a very fusion-based build of heroes. Voltic actually can combo extremely well off of Miracle Fusion, and just with Voltic and another fusion that you possibly made from Miracle Fusion, you can really set yourself up for some pretty nifty OTKs. So we do have the 1 Voltic in here, and I only have 1 because he is very much searchable, as we have about, what? I'd like to say 10 search cards, maybe even more. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but we have a lot of searching ability. So we only have the 1 Voltic because we don't want to draw into him and we want to search him more, as there are other stuff that we'd rather draw into. So we just do have the 1 Voltic. And then finally, for the last Elemental Hero that we do run the 1 Neos Alias, because it's another Coca target just like Voltic, and he's a pretty darn big normal summon. So we have the 1 Alias. Moving on to the other monsters that we do run, we have 2 Summoner Monk. This is just another combo piece that we can use to get into our Dark Laws, or our Shadow Mist, I should say, and our Blazemans or whatnot. So, because Summoner Monk, we do run a lot of spells. We usually will have Summoner Monk very much live whenever we draw into him. And again, like I said, he is a very powerful combo piece within this deck. Finally, for the last 2 monsters we do run the 2 Goblinberg, because very much like Summoner Monk, he is another combo piece that we can use to help us get into our Mask Change plays and whatnot. And he is also searchable off of Rhoda, so we can always see him whenever we need him with our search cards. So we do have the 2 Goblinberg. So that is it for the monster lineup. Moving on to the fairly heavy spell lineup, we start with the obligatory 3 Mask Change. Even though this isn't Master Change focus build, you still have to run the 3 Master Change because having Dark Law on the field is pretty darn nice. So we have the 3 Master Change because we will be trying to search out with our Shadow Mist as much as we can. So we have the 3 Master Change to ensure that we have targets for her. Following suit with those mask changes, we have the 2 Mask Change 2. We have the 2 so we can have the ability to change our Goblinbergs or our Summoner Monks into Dark Laws and Dianes. So we do have the 2 Mask Change for when the 2 Mask Change 2s, I should say, for whenever we have to go into those big plays. And it doesn't hurt to have 2 extra Mask Change cards for whenever we have to Mask Change our heroes. So we have these guys. And finally, for the last mask card we do run, we have the 1 Mask Charge, just to have that extra recyclability, as there are times when you might not have the ability to search out a Mask Change. So having the Mask Charge to help you just recycle them instead, as well as recycle a hero like maybe like a Shadow Mist or a Blaze Man, can just really help you recycle your cards for other plays in the later game. So we do have 1 Mask Charge. Moving on to the fusion-based spell cards, we have the 3 Miracle Fusion, because with Mask Change and all that kind of stuff, dumping heroes into our grave, as well as like Elemental Hero Blaze Man, we usually will be able to make some pretty darn big fusion plays with Miracle Fusion. So we do have the 3 of them, so we can see them as early as we can, so we can start setting up our OTKs and whatnot. Following that Miracle Fusion, we do have the 1 Polymerization. This is just for our Blaze Man searching target whenever we do want to search it, as well as so we can get some of our slower heroes like our Aliases and our Voltics out of our hand and whatnot. So we do have the 1 Polymerization. Moving on, we go into our searching spell cards. We start off with the 3 Rhoda because this is a warrior deck and Rhoda can search out everything bar Summoner Monk. So we have the 3 Rhoda for consistency. Much in that same light, we have the 2 Emergency Call, just because it can search out every hero in the deck outside of, Summoner Monk and Goblinberg, which is the only 4 monsters in the deck that we cannot search with this card. So we do have the 2 E-Call just so we can have that consistency, like I said with Rhoda. Next up, we have the 2 MST. We don't need 3 because really back row isn't as much of a problem in this format, so I did cut the 3 MST down to 2 just for space. But you can bump it up to 3 if you find a card that you don't really want. But personally, I just like 2 MST for now. Finally, for the last 2 spells, we have, again, the pretty darn staple 1-ofs. We have the 1 Book and the 1 Raigeki because they're all both just too good not to run. As they're both Jin outs, you want a special summon and yada yada. You don't want Necros ruining your day. So we have the 1 Book and the 1 Raigeki. So that is it for that large spell lineup. Moving on to the traps. We have the 3 Call of the Haunted. Call of the Haunted is here to help us get back our Shadow Mist from grave, get our searches, and get our Dark Law plays or Masked Hero plays just that much more going. So we do have the 3 Call of the Haunted. Moving on, we have the 2 Mirror Force, because again, Mirror Force is getting just more popular and more popular with as the format keeps going on. And Dark Law plus Mirror Force equals field-wide dimensional prison. So I mean, why would you not want a field-wide dimensional prison, if you know what I mean? So we do have the 2 Mirror Force just for that. Finally, we have 2 more traps in the form of 1 Compulse and 1 Bottomless. Compulse is here for basically another Jin out, and Bottomless is here to stop any monsters that might be big. We have Bottomless here for any big monsters that might get summoned. So we have these 2 guards to round off our main deck. Alrighty, now moving on to the extra deck, we start off with the triple Masked Hero Dark Law, because Dark Law is amazing. Dark Law wrecks a lot of decks this format, especially Necros. So we have to have the 3 Dark Law just so we can compete in this format. So yeah, 3 Dark Law. Next up for our other Masked Heroes, we have the 1 Anki, because there are some pretty nifty combos with Anki that we can do. As whenever he destroys a monster by battle, we can search a change card from our deck. So we can make Anki poke over something and then go immediately into Dark Law so we can start locking down our opponent and whatnot. So we have the Anki for those pretty nifty combos. Following that, we have the 1 Masked Hero Acid for general back row nuking. We have the 1 Masked Hero Koga as, I guess you could say it's sort of like what? I don't really know what a comparison is. I had a comparison off the top of my head, but I forgot it now. So whatever. But yeah, Koga's still a very, very good card, and he is another thing that we should be running in the extra, because we have Alias and Voltic to turn him into that. Finally, for the last Masked Hero we have the 1 Diane, because whenever we turn Goblinberg into this, we can, again, like Anki, combo off of Diane and make some pretty darn cool OTKs. So we have the 1 Diane. Moving on to the Elemental Hero fusions, we start off with the one Absolute Zero because Absolute Zero is a Raigeki in monster form, so why not have that? We have the one Elemental Hero, the Shining, because again, it's another fusion target that we can have, as well as if we Miracle Fusion enough, we can get Shining up to a pretty darn beefy number. So we have the one Shining. Then we have the one Escriardo, because Escriardo is much like Shining in the sense that we can make him pretty darn big at times. So again, just is another option that we can't have in the extra deck. Finally, for the last fusion, we do have the one Elemental Hero, Nova Master, because Nova Master can help us get free pluses whenever he starts blowing things up. And he's also pretty darn big at 2/6. So, again, Nova Master's here for whenever we want to fuse with Blazeman. So that is it for the pretty darn large fusion lineup. Moving on to the 4 XYZs we do run. We start off with the one Excalibur, because Excalibur is an Apocalypse 4 towers out, and it can get really huge at 4,000, so why would you not want to run a 4,000 beater? Next up, we have the Abyss Dweller for that Burning Abyss and or Shadow matchup, just so we can have just that little bit advantage over that Dex. And then finally, we have the 2 staple rank 4s in the form of Castelli and Exton, because, well, these 2 are both staple rank 4s, and any deck that has access to them should run them. Alright, guys, well, that is it for this new Elemental Hero deck profile for this April 2015 format. I hope you all did enjoy. Please let me know what you guys think of this list down in the comment section below. And as always, this is Kyurem from the Trinity of Lift, and I'll see all of you guys later. Peace.